So the goal here is to get the center of the training aid, the center of the cue ball, the center of the bridge in alignment. The way you do that is to put a reinforcement on the table in the center or tap the cue ball in the center so that your cue ball always shoots from the same spot. Then you align the bridge and the training aid down the center of the table, but you forget about looking at the training aid. Put your cue on the bridge through the center of the cue ball, look only at the center of the cue ball, and hit the center of the cue ball and see where the cue ball goes. So initially, you will move your bridge block from side to side to aim straight down the table. And you can see that if you hit one rod, you just need to move it back and forth till you're going relatively down the center of the table. So once you've got it relatively lined up, now you will move the training aid back and forth depending on where you hit until you're exactly in the center of the training aid. Again, you're only looking at the center of the cue ball and only getting a pure roll of the cue ball as you move the training aid back and forth. Now what you've done is you've located the bridge, the ball, and the training aid on an exact center.
So this next video is for one of the basic fundamentals, maybe both of the basic fundamentals of shooting straight, clean through the rods, learning what straight is and learning to roll the tire, but right now it's more focused around learning what straight is. Rolling the tire at the same time, it should always be done. But now we want to learn what straight is. So we have a straight edge for the bridge block that comes with the training aid. This is the only reason for this bridge block, is for learning what straight is. So this is where you use that bridge block. If the bridge block is moving around, it's going to be a problem for you. So we have a weighted point to bring the bridge block against that's sighted straight down the middle of the table. And we're going to move the pivot locator until simply hitting the center of the ball rolls clean without having to think about it. You don't want to aim it. You just want to look at the tip of the cue, go to the center of the cue ball with no aim. If you're trying to aim this, this will not work for you. You want to not aim, just tip the center of the cue ball. Roll it, roll it, roll it. Move the pivot locator until you're clean through the rod, clean through the rod, clean through the rod. Now you've set up a straight. And that straight we're going to use to memorize and know what straight is. So first we got to create a straight in order to learn a straight. So that's what we're going to do. So all I'm going to do, at a comfortable bridge length that I'm happy with, I'm going to just simply shoot from a divot on the table that puts the cue ball in the same spot every time. The bridge is locked by this here. We're going to shoot, move the rod, so move the pivot, the training aid, until we move the rod that we're hitting away from the path. And eventually we'll set the whole training aid into the center. So it's just medium weight. I like to line up and roll the tire, but medium weight shooting straight is all we need right now. All I'm doing is not looking at the training aid. I'm not aiming. I am just simply looking at the middle of that cue ball and trying to hit it. I obviously had a tiny bit of left spin, but I also hit that right rod. Don't do anything with one shot. Make sure you have some consistency first. All I'm doing again, try to roll the tire. That's not the most important thing right now, but it's nice to have that habit of rolling the tire. I'm just trying to hit the middle of that ball. Again, both times, right rod. So now I would move that right rod away from the path of the ball. A bit more than that. I'm hitting it pretty good. All right, So we just slightly moved it over to the right because I was hitting the right rod. Again, not aiming, not looking at the training aid, just looking at the middle of the cue ball. Slightly rub the right rod again. We'll make sure by doing it one more time, let the cue ball fall into that little divot that's there. So we're still rubbing the right rod. I rolled the tire pretty good that time though. That means I hit the center of the ball pretty good. I'm holding the bridge up against this. That way it's always in the same spot. The cue ball is always in the same spot. Now that went nice and clean with a beautiful rolling the tire. That's what we're looking for. So we'll make sure, of course, like I said, never take one shot as gospel. Always get a consistency. That tells you the real thing that's happening here. So I'm going to hit it again. All I'm looking at is the middle of the cue ball. Slightly touched the right rod, but I didn't roll the tire very well either. Rolling the tire tells you you hit it right, which will give you accurate outcomes. Not rolling the tire may be deflecting the cue ball a little bit. That was a beautiful roll of tire, and I still rubbed the right rod. So I'm going to get my buddy to push it a little bit away again. He's putting his fingers on the table and just kind of rolling them for very little movement. He's just rolling them push. Very little movement. We're dealing with thousandths of an inch here. Straight. All I'm looking at is the cue ball. Roll the tire. Beautiful. Now the camera did not pick up that slight rub on the left rod. But is that slight rub on the left rod real? Or was that me? Let's just shoot a few shots and look for that consistency. All I'm looking at is the cue ball. And again, I just barely rubbed that left rod. So I would just pull that tiniest, barely imperceptible amount back from where we pushed. Okay, bridge up against the weighted straight edge there. Looking at the center of the cue ball only. Again, I still touch that left rod. But never use one shot to make a decision. Looking only at the cue ball and hit the middle of it. That one was clean and a really nice roll of tire. So that one I would like to pay attention to. That one was a really nice roll of tire and it was clean through the rods. Nothing but the center of the cue ball, not aiming the shot, just hitting the middle of the cue ball. So there was two shots in a row that had a beautiful roll of tire, and both were dead clean. So okay, for the sake of the video, we're not going to try harder to make sure it's straight. That's straight. So now that you have this straight shot, this, you can't get much straighter than these 3 points. Ever line up a fence post? If you set up a fence line down a field, you're going to use 3 posts, and that will allow you to make a straight line. So we're looking down 3 points. 3 center points, right here, middle of the cue ball, in the middle of that bridge. We've got those 3 points in a dead straight line. Now you can memorize that straight line. Just get behind it, look at it. Look at how that looks to you to be straight. Make that straight your permanent memory that you take to every shot. And after you've learned this, you should be able to, without this and the bridge, and only with your hand, be able to see straight and shoot straight. This is teaching you what straight is. Without an actual straight, how do you learn straight? So that's what this is about. This gives you a straight to memorize and learn straight. Rolling the tire is always a must when just shooting the pivot locator. So that tells you you hit the cue ball correctly. So we know we've hit the cue ball correctly to create this straight line. That means this is a true dead straight line. And I'm just studying that. And now I'm actually aiming and looking at the pivot locator. And clean as a whistle, roll the tire. Clean as a whistle, roll the tire. And the phrase we use is, roll the tire clean, roll the tire clean, roll the tire clean. You got to do a lot of that. You want to roll the tire clean a lot to make this muscle memory your norm when you lean down into a shot. So roll the tire clean, roll the tire clean, study this straight line. Make this what you see when you are behind any shooting shot. Dead clean, dead clean, dead clean. That was clean as a whistle, rolling the tire. Clean as a whistle, roll the tire clean, roll the tire clean, roll the tire clean. Muscle memory. Your brain is a muscle. That memory takes a little bit to strengthen as well. Roll the tire clean. Clean as a whistle. My roll the tire was a little slanted when I started, so it just did the same thing that I started with. So that was a good roll the tire, even though it didn't look like it. Slight little angle on it before I even started. Now I'm aiming again. Now that we have straight, we just keep shooting this and keep learning what straight is. You didn't roll the tire much better than that one. That was perfect. So that's what this video is about. Being able to use the bridge block. Oh, I hit that one bad. See the spin that came over here. Did not roll that tire, but I still went clean through. That means I was bridged in basically close to the proper location. I can apply spin and still run straight where I go when I do that. So I still went clean through the rods, but I came back with a spin off the back rail. So one last shot and we finish this video. There's a beautiful roll of tire clean through those rods. So that bridge block comes with the training aid, and this is its sole purpose. You want to learn your hand bridge for learning your pivot points. You want to learn your hand bridge because that's the one you use when you're shooting. But this bridge block will allow you to see what dead straight is. And by moving this, we set up those three centers right on a dead straight line, and now we can sit behind that dead straight line and memorize it and practice it and learn what it is. The whole point of this bridge is this shot right here. After you've learned it, you get rid of the straight edge, you just use your hand bridge, and now you should be able to repeat rolling the tire clean, rolling the tire clean, rolling the tire clean. I can say it a dozen times and that might get through. And your bridge hand, being your hand, is what you want for all of that function. The only time you need the bridge block is learn what straight is. So that's what this video is about, and it teaches you how to figure that out. Thank you very much. So we created this ultimate training aid. In the beginning, it was solely created to find pivot points of cues. We needed something to help us learn that. So we made what we call the pivot locator at that time. After we created it, we also learned that it is an amazing training aid for any style of play. So now we call it the ultimate training aid. So if you hear me call it the pivot locator, that's my habit. It's actually now called the ultimate training aid.